Welcome class to Biology 226. This is Human Physiology at Rio Hondo College. My name is Elizabeth Bamer. I go by Beth, and I'm going to walk you through our Canvas page as it should look for you. So here in our Canvas page, hopefully you are in the right sections. If we go to the home screen, I've set it up so the syllabus pops up right on the home screen. This class will be pretty much all online with no live or synchronous Zoom sessions. We might have a few Zoom sessions depending on how the class is going later on in the semester, but mostly it'll be entirely online. You guys are responsible for all the material. Please check the Canvas for Zoom links if we ever do have a Zoom session, but for the most part, it'll be entirely online. Here's my contact information. I will hold office hours by appointment only via Zoom, so email me if you want to set up a time to chat. Also email me any questions you might have. Here are the dates of the course description, student learning outcomes, the course structure and attendance policy. So I set up this course into modules. There will be 4 of them that will correspond to chapters in the textbook, and they take you through all the information that you need to know and all of your assignments. In each module, you'll find the chapter lecture PowerPoints, a short recorded YouTube lecture link by me, several quizzes, and an exam. You'll also find the lab activities, videos, lab report assignments, and a lab exam. And we'll go through what lab will entail as well. Expect to spend at least the same amount of time each week for this online course as you would for an on-campus course. So this equates to about 16 to 24 hours per week. Especially since we have a lab, expect to spend at minimum 16 hours a week. Please stay on top of all the coursework assignments. I do not offer any extensions of any or makeups of quizzes, exams, assignments, lab reports, nothing. I don't offer any accommodations because if I accommodate one student, I have to accommodate everyone. And that just becomes a nightmare for me. So no accommodations, no extensions. I also offer no extra credit, so please don't email me at the end of the semester for an extra credit opportunity. If you do decide to withdraw from the course, that's your responsibility, and I'll go through the drop date that you have to withdraw by. The only required course material you need is this textbook, and I highly recommend you get it. You will need the Fox textbook by McGraw-Hill. The required lab manual is posted in Canvas, and I'll show you where that is. We'll be working through the required lab manual, and you'll need to be able to download. It's a big PDF file onto your computer. Here are the grade and percentages. I'll regularly post your grades to Canvas, and this is where I get the total points. You'll have 3 lecture exams. That should be 300 points, sorry about that. It'll be about 1,000 points, 10 quizzes, 3 lab exams, 12 lab reports, and a comprehensive or cumulative final exam. That means based on all the material up until that point. So what does lecture consist of? 3 exams that will cover basically what we're going through in that specific module or unit, and there will also be quizzes. There will be 3 lab exams. There will also be lab reports that you'll need to complete. Cheating will not be tolerated. I go by the honor system because we're online. Please do not cheat. I do have a way of checking your tests to see if you've logged onto another screen. So I will not tolerate any logging into other screens and no cheating. If you do think you need any sort of accommodation, please contact the Student Program and Services office. Instructor initiated withdraw. I will not be withdrawing any student. If you're not participating, you need to withdraw on your own. Roadrunner Connect, information there. Online classes require much more discipline. Some students think they can just float by in online classes, but it actually is a lot more difficult to take an online class, especially because we're not meeting synchronously. I recommend that you reserve blocks of time, a quiet place to work in your house for this class, because if you want to succeed and go on to nursing school or some sort of health program, you will need to dedicate time to this class. Not having a computer or access to internet is not a valid excuse. There are or could be some emergency funds available if you need access to internet or a device, so let me know. Here is the schedule, and I'll take you through the schedule. Here are important fall dates. It's your responsibility to confirm these dates, the dates that you can withdraw by, receive a refund, and drop with a W on your transcripts. Here's a schedule of topics, and note that the lab due dates for all lab reports don't always fit in the modular dates. So again, I divide this class into modules, and I've listed these modules here in the syllabus. And as you can see here, each module consists of your assignments: reading the chapter textbooks, or the chapters in the textbook, completing and reviewing the end of chapter questions. Those will be done on your own. You do not need to submit those, but I highly recommend you do those to make sure you're learning the material. You'll watch short lecture YouTube videos for the above chapters that I will post to the modules. There will be quizzes due on Sundays at midnight. Here's the lab schedule, and we'll basically have a lab every week, and you'll have a lab report due Sunday of the end of that week at midnight. There will be a lab exam with each module, and then a lecture exam on those chapters. And this takes you through the modules. You'll have 3 lab exams. For the final module, there's no lab exam, but you'll have a final cumulative exam on all the lecture material. So let's take you through the modules where you'll spend the majority of your time. Please also check announcements regularly, as I'll be posting any changes to the schedule and announcements. So in the modules, here's the introductory module. I'll also post this welcome video there when I'm done with it. Here's a Who Am I discussion post. It's worth 10 easy points. Just tell me why you're taking this class. You can see one person has already responded, which is awesome. Here's the online syllabus, and this is your physiology lab manual. It is pretty archaic, if I could use those terms, just in the fact that normally you would get a paper copy of this on campus. So we're doing the best we can, and we've scanned it in. And this is the copy that you'll get. At the end of each lab, I'll take you through the procedure. So for each lab, I will post a short lab video that takes you through the lab and the procedure that we would do in class. And then you will answer the lab report questions in a separate document. You can write out these questions because you might need to draw or create a graph in some of these questions, or you can put them into a Word document or Excel document, and you'll need to upload the answers to these questions as a lab report for each lab. So taking us back to the modules, here's module 1. I will have all the PowerPoints listed. You'll see my short lecture videos that I will post, and you can always focus on the dates of this module to make sure, okay, it's almost September 13th. I have to make sure I have everything done. You'll also see due dates for quizzes, exams. You'll see due dates for labs, and when you click on a lab, there will always be an option to submit, and you can see submit assignment here. And you can upload a file that can be a Word document of your lab report, or it can be a picture of a paper copy that you've written out to answer those questions. So this is module 1, chapters 1 to 5. There will be quizzes here on the chapters. And there'll be a lab exam. So for each module, you'll see it laid out like this. You'll have a lecture exam, and you'll have a lab exam for each module. This takes us through pretty much all of the information for this course. In terms of lab, I will be posting an introduction video for each lab, right where you'll see lab 1. So you can watch that lab introduction, and then you'll be able to perform the lab report on your own. If you have any questions, please let me know. I hope all your families are healthy and well. Take care, and I'm looking forward to a great semester.